All right, g'day guys, welcome back to another episode. This time we're talking all things 12 volt for your full drive. So we're gonna run you through your basic $1,000 setup roughly through to roughly your $10,000 setup. I've done a build video on this and we just briefly touched on the 12 volt system. So today we're gonna do a full deep dive. I've actually got basically your most basic dual battery setup in the front through to one of your more extreme dual battery setups in the rear. So we're going to run through that today. If you are enjoying these videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single video. We are just about to pack up. By the time you see this video, we are probably on the road doing a lap of Australia for the Lockdown Under series. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn the bell on. Let's jump straight into it. All right guys, here we go. We're going to kick it off under the bonnet, and this is basically running through what I would consider your beginner, your entry level dual battery system. Now, in my vehicle and in the past 4 vehicles that I've built, I've always run Red Arc. Red Arc is an Australian-owned company. I've actually been down and had a tour of the factory. The testing facilities that they have down there are absolutely incredible. So, Australian-owned and Australian manufactured. These guys have been around for a long time, 30 plus years, and the products are designed for the Australian conditions. So look, I'm a big fan of Red Arc. I always have been. I started off with their basic isolators, and as we work through the truck, you'll see how I've sort of progressed to probably one of the more advanced systems you can possibly do in your vehicle. But we want to start at the basics. We're going to run you through a really good dual battery setup for your full drive. If you're a bit of a weekend warrior, you're new to the space, you know, you head away on those little weekend trips with the mates or the family, and you want to run you know, a fridge, couple little lights, maybe charge your phone, those sorts of bits and pieces. When doing a good dual battery system, if you know nothing about it, you might want to go down to your local 12 volt guy and have a bit of a chat to him. But you basically need to work out all of the products that you want to run, work out how much power it's going to take to run them, and sort of reverse engineer back from there. So once you know how much power you need, you can work out how much battery storage you're going to have, and then what sort of system you're going to need to power that amount of battery storage. So it can get very complex, but we're going to start nice and simple, and that's the system I've put under the bonnet at the moment. So I'm running the Red Arc BCDC 1225D. So essentially, what this BCDC does, it's a little bit of a smart charger. You've got your start battery, your crank battery underneath here, and what you want to do, the BCDC takes care of the charge from the alternator into your secondary battery. Now, the cool thing about the BCDC is it knows what style of battery you're running. So, because there is so many different styles, the BCDC will adapt to your secondary battery and give it the correct amount of charge that it needs, and it will also make sure that your main battery never goes flat. So that's what you want. You want your crank to stay for cranking, and you want all your appliances running off of your second battery. Now, if you sit still for too long and your fridge is running for 3-4 days and this battery goes flat, it'll cut off and make sure that your crank battery is always good to go. So your BCDC is a great starting point. You're looking at about $500, couple of $100 for a battery if you go on a deep cycle battery. Obviously it varies. So you're up to about $700-800. Then you want to run a couple of little outlets plus your labor, depending on if you're going to have a crack by yourself or if you're going to get someone to install it. So you can get away with about $1,000, you know, even a little bit cheaper if you're doing it yourself, and probably $1,200 to $1,500 depending on who's doing it and how many outlets you want for a more advanced type system. Couple of great features, obviously the BCDC, it has a solar input. Now that's pretty cool. If you're going to pull up for a couple of days and you know that your vehicle's not going to be running, you can simply, up the front here, I've got an Anderson plug. You simply plug an external panel or blanket, whatever you might have, into there, and the BCDC will take care of solar charge into your secondary battery. So all in all, guys, this is a great system. It's a system that I've run in previous vehicles. Basically, I'm running my little center console fridge, and I do have another outlet behind the back seat for a 50 litre fridge. So if my canopy's not on, if I jack my canopy off and I'm heading away, you know, with the dirt bikes in the back of the ute, I've got one 120 amp hour battery here that will be running my fridge, my little fridge, and I've got just a couple little USB outlets to charge my phone. So look, the BCDC, this one's just a 25, which means 25 amps per hour will be its max charge that it'll put into your battery. If you want to spend a couple $100 more, you could upgrade this to the 50 amp charger, which will mean you can push 50 amps, almost double, into your secondary battery. So it'll charge twice as quickly, essentially. So they're all the extra little things you can do. There's a few different models, so make sure you go check this out. But I just wanted to give you guys a rundown of a very simple, effective, quality dual battery system, which is what I'm running up front. We're gonna do a full 180 flip. We're gonna go to basically the more extreme system that you can put in your vehicle. Let's go have a look at that now, and I'll run through some of the reasons why I've chosen the system that I have in the back of the canopy. Let's go. All right, let's get into the back. This is the Taj Mahal. This is my dream dual battery setup. Before we go too far, I probably should point out, yes, I am sponsored by Red Arc. For everyone that's going to start punching me in the comments, look, I've been running Red Arc since I had my first four-wheel drive. I had the little Red Arc isolator system. I've never actually used any other charging systems, so I am sponsored by Red Arc, but I went to Red Arc and approached them because it's the system that I knew and I absolutely loved. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. This vehicle's been built 100% for long range touring. We could be living out of this vehicle along with the van we're towing for at least 12, maybe 24 months. We'll see how we go. So I've built this up for long range touring. Now we will have the van on the back, but a lot of times we're going to disconnect the van, take off for a week, 2 weeks at a time, who knows, and we'll be living fully self-sufficient out of this vehicle. Now, when we come back from our trip, however long that is, the van will get parked up and this thing's just going to do some epic missions up through the Cape, up through the Northern Territory. And I needed a system that was going to be full off-grid and be able to run some of those creature comforts. I have gone to a bit of an extreme. Not a necessity, but when you spend as much time on the road as I do, they're nice to have. So let's do a quick run around and check out exactly how I've set this canopy up, where all my appliances are, what outlets I've got, to give you guys a bit of a rough idea. And then that's, like I said earlier, that's how you then reverse engineer what system you need. So once again, guys, look, everyone's setup is going to be specific to how they tour and what items they've got. This side is all my camera gear, my drones, my laptops, everything gets charged here. At the moment, we've got a camera battery on charge. So I've got a couple of quick access power points, cigarette outlet, and I've got 2 USBs. I've got a power board here. The power board runs back to my two 240 outlet plugs, obviously that come off the inverter. So I turn the inverter on and then I can individually power these two here. So I've got one power board running to this side, one running to the other side, which I'll show you. But this power board here just gives me 4 extra outlets to plug in my GoPro batteries, my camera batteries, my drones, everything that I spoke about before, and everything sits in here and charges. I can run the cords through into this drawer as well. So if we go just above my 240 outlets here, 2 more cigarette outlets and 2 more dual USB outlets. Those I'm probably not going to use as much because I do have them here, but every now and again the camera boys get carried away and plug in a million bloody things, trust me. So above that, I've got 2 Anderson plugs. Now, this is pretty cool. Along with the solar that I have on the roof, 250 watt Red Arc solar panels up on the roof, I've got an extra solar input here. I've got 115 watt Red Arc solar blanket. If I'm going to be pulled up, it's overcast, I know I'm going to be there for a couple of days, I can have the power coming from the panels up top and I can plug an extra blanket in. A little bit of overkill, yes, maybe the 300 normally is more than enough, and I don't think I'll need to add the extra blanket with the 300 watts, but I can take that blanket round to the front, plug it in to run my secondary under the bonnet off that BCDC that we were talking about earlier. So solar blankets, super handy. So that's my solar input, or let's just say for your guys' example, if you were running this system and you didn't have those fixed panels on the roof, that's where you plug your solar blanket into. Above that is a Anderson plug for a 12 volt out. I'll be honest, I have no idea what we're going to use that for, but I've got it there. If I wanted to sit another 30 litre fridge in here as a freezer, I can wire the back of the fridge to an Anderson plug it in, and away we go. So that's pretty handy. That's a quick rundown on what I've got on this side of the vehicle. Let's go over and check out where all my appliances are. All right, so let's check out the business side, the kitchen side of my canopy setup. So straight off the bat, we've got the fridge. It's a 110 litre Dometic upright fridge. Absolutely love it. So simple and easy to get in and out of. Just to the left of that, I've got a couple of little outlets here. One is a cigarette outlet and the other one 2 USBs. This is handy. Basically, I've got 2 phone chargers sitting here at all times. So whenever we're at camp and we're cooking dinner or whatever, you plug your phone in to run the music through the UE boom, all that sort of thing. This is where it comes down to just, you know, making sure you set it up to suit your needs. So a couple of outlets there. This is the little travel buddy I was talking about. So we turn that bad boy on, up to 200 amps. If you've never seen a travel buddy, get around it. These things are absolutely brilliant. In here, I've actually got the Nespresso coffee machine. People either love it or they hate it. It's up to you. I like my morning coffee. So what I had to do was, like I said earlier, take all the amperage, how much the fridge is going to draw, the travel buddy, the Nespresso. Now, you don't normally make a coffee and have this running at the same time while charging everything. So you sort of got to work out what you think you're going to be using at the same time, work out that max sort of output and reverse engineer your way back from there. So like I said, I have another power outlet over on this side. I just ran another power board. That gives me 4 extra 240 outlets on this side. One of them is used for my coffee machine. So I slide the coffee machine out. Massive pantry. In your vehicles, you're not allowed to have 240 volt hardwired, I think, unless you have RCDs and bits and pieces. So I simply take the 240, plug it in on the back side there, turn my inverter on. That gives me power to my coffee machine. Simple and easy. The other couple of outlets there are for whatever we might do if we want to charge items over here. Look, 4's a bit of an overkill. I just had a couple of black, what do you call them, power boards laying around. So I just threw them in the truck. You don't have to go that overkill. One thing I missed as I walk around the back is off my water tank, I'm running a pump. So I've got a 12 volt water pump tucked underneath the tray, which you can't see there. So that's kind of a quick list of my items, along with lighting. So I've got strip lighting inside the canopy and on the doors on both sides, which we can turn on here, all fully adjustable and dimmable. Once we worked out sort of how much voltage I'm going to actually need to draw, we needed to go back and work out what size battery and system is going to best suit that. So we went with a 240 amp hour lithium battery. It's by Boss Aluminium to suit his specific configuration that he's got in the back here. And then we've gone for the bee's knees when it comes to the management system. So we're running the Redarc TVMS. Basically, it's a total vehicle management system, exactly what it sounds like. These things were initially brought out for your camper trailers, caravans, so that you had a simple display that could take care of everything. Now, cool thing about the TVMS is everything is in one spot. It's all wired back to this one unit. So all your fuses are in one easy to see location. If any of these fuses blow, they've actually got little lights that'll turn on so that you can instantly see where your problem is. It also allows us to put our inverter. So we've got a Redarc 2000 watt Synwave inverter plugged into this management system as well. Above that, I've got the Manager 30. So a Manager 30 is basically 6 systems in one. So to run through a couple, the first 3, it's got your solar input, takes care of your solar regulator. Your BC-DC charging gives you your 30 amp hour of charge. It takes care of your 240 volt in. So I've got a nice little 10 amp plug here. If you're at home with no solar whatsoever, you can basically run your extension lead out, plug it into here, and it will charge your battery. You get your battery isolator, your load disconnect controller, and it's all linked up through a monitoring system, which in this case, we've swapped out the standard Manager 30 monitoring system, and we're using the Red Vision system, which does the same. Now, we got a little bit fancy. The Manager 30 puts in 30 amps per hour. Now, we wanted to step that up a notch, so we actually got another BC-DC charger. We did the 1250D, the Redarc 50 amp hour charger, and we linked it together with the Manager 30 through the TVMS, which gives us 80 amps per hour pumping from the alternator back into the battery. So 3 hours and we'll basically be able to charge it from 0 up to 100%, which is absolutely epic. Now you can see straight away why these were designed for your caravans and camper trailer systems, to be able to have this one simple display as a switching unit to turn on all of your lights, see your water tank levels, see your battery usage. It's absolutely epic. So we'll dive into this a little bit deeper now. I can turn on and off all my interior lights, You can plumb your water tank up to it as well. So I can see that my water tank at the moment is at 100% capacity, and I can watch that as it comes down. I can turn on and off my travel buddy at the other side there. And then I can turn my inverter on. I can turn all my different lights on. The cool thing about the Red Vision is you can basically completely customize it to suit whatever you want. So they've got all little diagrams. If I scroll across here, you can choose your fridge. My fridge is on and the fridge is locked, which means even if this system gets turned off, the fridge has got constant power. So you can basically customize it to suit whatever the accessories you have in your vehicle. And which ones you want permanently on, which ones you want on and off. All my little 12 volt outlets, my cigarette sockets and my USBs, I can have them individually switched all through this one unit. So it is extremely handy. So not only is it a switching platform, but this is where it gets pretty cool. So the other thing you can do is basically track all of your power. So you can track what's coming in, what's going out. I'm able to see how much power I'm drawing off certain appliances, all from the Red Vision system here. So I can actually jump in right now. I can see I'm putting in 4.1 amps. My batteries are full. They basically sit full all the time. I can see I'm using 5.1 amps. That's running the fridge, it's running the lights, the inverter, and little bits and pieces that we've got turned on. So overall, I'm actually using 5 amps of power going out, and my solar's trickling in the full overcast day here, 4 amps. So you can track what's coming in, what's going out, which gives you a good indication of how long you could sit in one place. So at the moment, it tells me for 9 days, I can basically sit here in this overcast running the amount of appliances I am. 9 days. Now look, as the sun comes out, hopefully it does while we're filming this, when we rocked up, I had all the inverters on, I had the travel buddy on, I had everything running to try and draw some power out of this system so that I could find out just how much solar was going in. We ran up to about 17 amps when the sun was out before. So look, it's super impressive how far solar's come and how much you can actually pump back into this system. While we're running through the Red Vision system and what it does, I thought I'd show you another cool feature. So basically, I can jump onto my iPhone, Android, whatever you got. You can go into the Red Vision app, Bluetooth. It'll take 1 second here and it will connect. Boom, we're on. So from my app, I can basically see everything that the Red Vision is showing me. So I've got on here, I'm at 99%. And once again, you can change this configuration depending on how you want it set up. I know my water tank number 1 is full because I'm only running the single water tank off of it. I can see I got 5.5 amps getting charged in at the moment. Then it'll tell me internal temperature of my fridge, external temperature of my fridge. This is where it gets pretty cool. I can jump in to the control panel. Let's say I've gone to bed and you look out the rooftop tent and your bloody lights are all left on. I can open the app. I can turn all my internal lights off. I can turn my water pump off. Don't need the travel buddy on anymore. You can turn on and off all your appliances straight here from your phone. It is something that I have used. We'll see how much I use it on the road. Just going to be fully honest. I tend to just come straight round, turn it on and off here. But if you do end up in your bed or you're sitting around the camp and you want to turn the lights on and off for the missus or the water pump, it is a cool little option. So I thought I'd show you that really quick. The other thing you can do from this unit is you can jump in here and you can actually go back in time, and I can see my state of charge per hour. So it gives me the last sort of 12 hours, and I can flick through and see how much charge I've had throughout the day. And if I go back, you can see just how much power you've had. Now, apart from this one little dip here, when I was parked in the shed, this thing pretty much sits fully topped the whole time because of the solar. Just that constant little bit of trickle of the solar always running in is absolutely epic. I never had a solar set up on the last truck, and if it sat for too long, you know, I'd have to go for a drive. The way I did my touring in the previous 76, I'm always on the move, and solar wasn't something that I specifically needed. This time, we're taking our time. We're going to have a lot more time on the road to pull up for 3, 4, 5 days a week, whatever it might be. So I will need that solar. And look, even just after using it for the last couple of months, I highly recommend, no matter what system you're running, grab yourself a solar panel, if you've got the space, fix it up on the canopy, or worst case scenario, grab yourself a solar blanket and have a solar blanket. It just saves that power dropping, your fridge going warm, all those sorts of things. It is a very new system for me to be running the solar, but honestly, I'm absolutely stoked I did it. Wish I had done it 3 years ago. So look, if we want to talk some rough figures on this, because we said 1,000 to 10,000, and you're probably thinking $10,000 for a setup, are you absolutely joking? But look, you got about $3,000 in a full TVMS with the Manager 30 setup. So they're at $3,000. You're at another $2,000, $2,500 for a big, say, 200 amp hour lithium battery. So there's easy 5. You want the inverter, 2,000 watt inverter is probably another 2,000 bucks. So there's about $6,000, $7,000. Then you want all your outlets and the labor. So you can see just how quickly you can get up to that 10 grand by the time you put all your lights, all your extra plugs, the extra BCDC 50 amp hour charger that I've got in here, then your solar panels up on the roof. You got another 500 bucks per solar panel for the bigger ones. So you can see your basic setup, you know, 1,500 bucks, well and truly gets you out of trouble. A little bit of solar in, and you're running your fridges. But when you want to take it to that next level, and you don't want power to be an issue, and you want to run your coffee machines and your travel buddies, and you want to have it all at your fingertips and know exactly what's going on, this is the ultimate touring setup, in my opinion. I'm stoked with it. I'm probably going to give you guys a bit of a proper review when we're on the road and I've used it for, you know, 6-12 months, so I can give you guys some serious feedback. This isn't really a review video. This is just showing you guys the setup that I decided to go with. And so far, we've done a trip over to Stratty for a week. We've done Fraser Island for a week. So far, I'm absolutely in love. Everything is so easy. And when you're touring, that's what you want. You just want practicality and easy. So guys, look, obviously this setup is not for everyone. Definitely recommend you go chat to your local 12 volt guy, or if you're gonna do it yourself, you can basically grab all of these Red Arc products from your local ARB, or just jump online and order them. But sit down, work out realistically how much power you're gonna need, and then like we said, reverse engineer it to what setup is best gonna suit you. So look, I got to get back to packing this thing. I can't wait to give you guys a bit of an in-depth review after using this product day in, day out for 6 months, however long it takes me before we do the next video. All right, so stay tuned. Another video that I'm going to do very shortly is on solar. I'm actually blown away by how much solar's changed my life when it comes to these touring setups. So I'll have a video coming very shortly for that. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that one. Turn the bells on and get out. Get yourself a good dual battery system, fill the fridge up with cold beers, and enjoy the Explore life.